Today we're going to look at the worst red reserve list cards in Magic the Gathering. You see, when they made things reserved list, they sort of reserved the good stuff at the time. Things like the Black Lotuses and the Moxen and so on. However, there were a lot of cards that weren't really good at, or sorry, I guess they were really good at the time, but not really good objectively overall in Magic the Gathering history. And we're going to take a look at them, starting with the Granite Gargoyle. This is reserve list. Get this. 1 red, 2 generic. For a 2/2 flying gargoyle creature. But that's not all, because it's got the activated ability of 1 red, Granite Gargoyle gets +0/+1 until end of turn. You got that? I think what makes this card at least considered broken at the time is that it was a red creature with flying. You know, that sort of Shivan Dragon power level. Makes me wonder, look, why didn't Shivan Dragon get reserve list? Like, that thing's not reserve list whatsoever. They were allowed to reprint that thing. They knew that card was, like, strong-ish at the time. I guess Shivan Dragon is not so bad. It's 5 mana. Granite Gargoyle, that's 3 mana. That can buff itself up to protect itself. And for a card that is on the reserve list, it certainly has a lot of copies in existence, which is a little bit bizarre. Maybe it was put on there a little late there. Okay, moving on, we got Liquid Soulfly says, Ember Wild Djinn is so bad. Ember Wild Djinn. Remember, these things are in limited quantity, so if you see some value in this, get them while they're pennies. This is a $1 reserve list card. The Ember Wild Djinn, a red, 2 generic for a 5/4 flyer. Hey, that doesn't sound too bad, even by today's standards. So what's the catch? Each player's upkeep, he or she may pay red, or 2 life to gain control of Ember Wild Djinn. It's like the Primeval Titan of red. So everyone has it and everyone wants to steal it. This actually looks like a fun card to play. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, they can pay red. You're going to pay the red, or they can just pay the 2 life. And in Commander, everyone has 40 life, so everyone wants a take at this Ember Wild Djinn. He or she may pay to gain control of him. This is a cool looking card. Of course, it's terrible, because everyone will just keep paying life to take the damn thing. It should have haste. That would be neat. Give it haste. Untap the damn thing. Creatures with stats were busted back in the day. Yeah, like, when you mean stats, you're talking about, like, anything. That thing can fly? Oh my god, it's broken! Put it on the reserve list. Get it on that reserve list. Oh, Mikey J with the Dwarven Pony. I love this one. Get this. Alright. We got 1 mana, 1/1. It's a pony. I think it's the only pony in the game. Oh, they errated it to horse. How dare they? That is an insult to all the ponies out there. It's a horse now. Whatever. Alright, with the special activated ability of red 1 generic tap, target dwarf gains a mountain walk until end of turn. Because you better know that without your pony, the ponies know their way around the Misty Mountains. Did they use ponies in Lord of the Rings? Did the hobbits get on top of ponies? And all the humans use the horses? I don't know. Alright, Justin says, Farmstead is straight trash. By the way, you can get your Dwarven Pony for $1.78. $1.78. This is not red! This is not red. Disqualified. Read the title. We'll get to the white cards. Don't worry. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It's gonna happen. Christopher B with the Crimson Hellkite. I gotta milk a series out of this, people. That's how it works around here. That's how it works on Coffee and MTG. Gotta milk a series. This isn't even a reserve list card. What's wrong with you people? Well, have we derailed already? Okay, King Ginger with Raging River. That is a reserve list card. Okay, is this actually bad, or is this just confusing? Okay, so, I'm not gonna read the actual card text. We're gonna read the Oracle text. When one or more creatures you control attack, each defending player divides all creatures without flying they control into a left pile and a right pile. Then for each attack attacking creature you control, choose left or right. That creature can't be blocked except this combat except by creatures with flying and creatures in a pile with the chosen label. I actually can't tell if this is good or not. I never played with this card before. I just gotta assume that it is bad. Does anyone play with this card? It's a unique card, I'll give you that. It's like $250 in beta, so that's gotta mean something. It's gotta mean a little something here. Yeah, red cards. Damn. My title is not clear enough. Alright, we got bread with glacial crevices. Glacial crevices. I think if we do this correctly, we'll probably get through every red reserve list card that exists. I took a look at them. They're all terrible. There's like 2 good ones, and everything else is awful. So red 2 generic enchantment. Sacrifice a snow mountain. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. This is probably the most practical of all the bad red reserve list cards. So this sort of does something. It's not great. You basically attack somebody. Well, whenever someone attacks you, they're effectively just trying to destroy one of your lands, because you gotta sack them snow lands. How many snow lands are you gonna play? It's gonna prevent you from playing the good lands. We were chasing Limb Duel when the ridge in front of us suddenly crumbled. I can't believe it was a mere coincidence. Oh yes, coincidence. Coinkydinks. Charlie Peterson, Dwarven Sea Clan. It's a ship. And it's part of the reserve list. Red 2 generic. It's a 1/1. Alright, 3 mana 1/1, baby. That was so broken at the time. Tap. At the end of combat, Dwarven Sea Clan deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Use this ability only if that creature's controller controls any island. Well, that makes it terrible. That's a bad card. The I was about to say, hey, this combat trick at end of combat might be broken, because I played the beta booster draft. I know what it's like to play it limited in beta. And something like this would be insane if you could deal 2 damage to attacking and blocking creatures, even at end of combat. But you can only use it if the opponent has an island. It's like it's a pirate card. So yeah, this thing's awful. Awfully good for the show. Yuck. Alright, Crimson Wolf, thank you very much for the super chat. This is difficult, Nikachu. Is Earthbind 1? No, it's not a reserve list card. I have a tip for everyone. Just go to Scryfall, put in the filters, red card, reserve list, and then boom, everything will come out. Yoshu! With the Covetous Dragon. Oh yes! Red 4 generic for a 6/5 flyer. Actually, we have better today. We've got like 6/6 flyers for 4 mana. So this really isn't all that special anymore. But when you control no artifacts, you have to sacrifice your dragon. So make sure you're playing with a lot of treasure tokens. You got to be playing with treasure token.deck. This is not very special by today's standards, and it gets even worse, the fact that you need to have at least 1 artifact. But you know what? You commander players, you're all good. You got your mana crypts, your mana vaults, your soul rings. You just ramp this thing out and then hold on to those things for dear life. Otherwise, you're gonna get 2 for 1. Telsa. This is a card? No, this is not a card. Sorry about that. This is not bad. Well, you gonna play it? You want to play it? You gonna play in your dragon deck? Do you have any idea how many better dragons there are for 5 mana that have basically the same stats but also have haste and some other ability attached to it? This is literally a fat dragon that flies with the downside of dying if you have no more artifacts in play. Alright, we got Kukus from Bread. We got a genie. Kukus. So for red 3 generic, we have a 3/5 trampler. During your upkeep, if you do not control at least 1 keeper of the Kukus, what the hell is that? Kukas deals 3 damage to you. Take damage and attacks this turn if able. I don't... Where's my Kuka? Where's my keeper? Keep me under control. And you got... It has fire breathing. 1 red for +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay, what's keep? We got to go deeper here. Keeper of Kukas. The Keeper of Kukas. It's a red 1/1 protection from red until end of turn. Ah, protection from its own genie. The genie... Yeah, you do what the Keeper says. I don't know. I can't make any more material out of this. To be fair, a Trampler with fire breathing is pretty nasty. It probably was not bad at the time. Yeah, you try to block me? That's useless. It's a flying head attached to a chain. This guy reminds me of, what is that show? The French fries. Cartoon with French fries and flying head. There we go. Aqua Team Hunger Force. So this, he's flying French. Yeah, he is the flying French fries. That's how I see Kukas. He is the flying French fries. West Coast Games knows what I'm talking about. Okay, Bobby and Termus with the Quorum Trench Gnomes. The hell is this? 4 mana for a 1/1 creature? And what is he doing? He's like drill. I don't know what he's doing. He's drilling the ground with this weird contraption. This looks so cartoony. Like you got this big drill in the front, like Dr. Robotnik, and like this tiny little wheel and a vacuum. This is very Dr. Robotnik cartoony. All right, what do we do? For 4 mana, 1/1, how did we get on the reserve list? We can tap. Target planes produces 1 generic instead of a white until end of turn. Use counters. What the hell? Okay, we gotta know what it actually does. Okay, tap. If target planes is tapped for mana, it produces colorless mana instead of white mana. This is one of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life. Or, hold on, is it permanent? Oh, maybe it's permanent. Maybe it's not that bad. Until end of game? Oh, actually, maybe this is insane. Okay, I've completely changed my tune around this card. So you use counter. This effect lasts indefinitely. So this is basically turning your planes into trash for eternity. Oh, interesting. It's permanent, but it's still terrible. Maybe it's not that bad. For 4 mana, I want to do better things than this. Oh, great captain, all is lost. They tunneled, they burrowed, they trenched, they sapped the strength of our defenses. Yeah, planes destruction. And you can do this, you just hold this guy up every single turn. All right, end of turn, tap, turn your planes into wastes. Turns plane, and you can turn dual lands into wastes because it's a planes. You can turn tri-lands into a wastes. This card is a bit wild, actually. All right, I can see this being on the reserve. It's $40. It's got to be $40 for a reason. That is a very unique card. Peeve off the what's the taxing deck called? The Stacks player. You just peeve off the Stacks player. Okay, Warriors of the Waterdeep video. It's a very very specific username. All right, we have Hearth Wolf. Heart Wolf, maybe? Yep, okay, Heart Wolf. Okay, red, 3 generic, 2/2. Grizzly Bear for 4 mana. First Strike! It's got First Strike, it's too dangerous to stay alive. Tap, target dwarf. Oh, I guess dwarf tribal at the time must have been OP. Because anything with the word dwarf on it is suddenly reserve list. Target dwarf gains First Strike and gets +2/+0 until end of turn. That's actually not too bad. If that dwarf leaves play this turn, bury Heart Wolf. It's like Soulbind in some way. Use this ability only when attack or defense is announced. Well, when it actually forces you to use it well. Busted back in the day. Yeah, try to block my dwarf. It's gonna get in first strike. Okay, this is not a bad card. That's a very good card. I'm not gonna look up Ali from Cairo, but I looked up that card and it was insane. Okay, I'll just show you. I'll just show it to you guys. There's really not that many good red reserve list cards. Okay, check this out. Red, 2 generic for a 0/1 human, but damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. So it's a worship in red on a creature. That's broken. It's actually quite amazing. Anyway, it's not a bad card. Matsiej Sinkiewicz with Disharmony. Disharmony. What do we got here? Well, before we look at Disharmony, gotta thank our sponsor. We'll get back to the worst red reserve list cards in the history of Magic the Gathering, but we gotta thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. We're gonna thank them for selling us Magic cards, because we love them when they sell us Magic cards. Deal of the week this week, save 15% off all D&D books and accessories, so if you're a D&D fan, which some Magic players are, there's a lot of crossover between the worlds of Magic the Gathering and Dungeons of Dragons. You can save 15% off all your D&D books and accessories. But I also suggest buying their cards. They got singles from March of the Machine, Phyrexia will be one. So it's the first place I go to get my singles. When you get those singles, you gotta use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. Or if you want to buy some bad red reserve list cards, you better believe they got that too. We're also gonna thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Rent your bad red reserve list cards if they cost you. Get your Alley of Cairo. You don't have to spend $500 for an Alley of Cairo when you can just rent it from Mana Traders. I don't even know if it's on Magic the Gathering Online. Probably it is, but no one uses it. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_3RS. Alright, now let's look at Disharmony. Because what's the harm in it? We got a red 2 generic instant. Cast Disharmony only during combat before blockers are declared. Okay, so I attack. I use Disharmony. Alright, you can block. Untap target attacking creature and remove it from combat. Gain control of that creature until end of turn. What the hell is this? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read the real card. I don't think I'm reading. I don't think there's any way to read this wrong. Okay, cast a spell during combat before blockers are declared. Untap target attacking creature and remove it from combat. Oh, you basically take away an attacker in red. It's like you. I don't even think you steal it. You cast it, steal an attacker. No. It says untap target attacking creature. Just remove it from combat. Oh no, you do gain control. Gain control of that creature until end of turn. Okay, it's a blocker. You're right. Oh, here come the comments. It's like, Nikachu, you don't read the cards. You don't read the cards. That's part of the fun of this show. I don't read the cards. Creates a lot of engagement in the comments section. You can all band together. Everyone in the comments section. It's people who watch the show, people who like to complain about Nikachu not reading the cards. Someone make a meme out of that. Alright, yeah, so, yeah, you steal an attacker, you get this block with it. It's not terrible, it's like a pretty good limited card. But for, actually playing the game, this is terrible. It's only for defense, not offense. Unless you want to steal your own creature. And Dwarven Pony is atrocious too. Yeah, we looked at that one. We got Blake here with Goblin Flotilla. My first super chat, by the way. Thank you very much, Blake. I hope it's one of many. Supports the channel. Gets me up in the morning. What is a Goblin Flotilla? It floats! Put on the reserve list. Okay, red 2 generic 2/2 with Island Walk. Oh yeah, that must be broken. At the beginning of the attack, pay a red or any creatures blocking or blocked by Goblin Flotilla gain first strike until end of turn. Oh god. So if we attack, we have to pay this red or everything else has first strike. I guess that makes sense. You're on a boat. I'm on a boat. So everyone else has the advantage over you. People with them swords, they'll get to you first before your paddles do. They got mere paddles. Nikachu, come on, you're not reading the cards. Exactly, yeah, I know. Reading the card explains the card. I've known this rule for forever. It hasn't sunk in yet. I mean, sometimes I read the card, but I don't even really interpret the card. Bolduvian Hydra. Did we do this one? I think there's a lot of Bolduvian cards on the reserve list. We did not! Red X for a 0/1 Hydra. Comes into play with X +1/+0 counters. So it could be like a big ball lightning looking creature. So we can remove a +1/+0 counter from Bolduvian Hydra to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to Bolduvian Hydra this turn. And we can go red, put a +1/+0 counter on Bolduvian Hydra. Play this ability only during your upkeep. It's not terrible. Like with infinite mana, you could make an infinitely large creature. Although you have to do it. It won't be a surprise because you have to do it during your upkeep. Falling Star? Remember, Tommy, we don't talk about news on this channel anymore. We used to. Now it's just it's a pony channel now. Falling Star, red 2 generic. This is like not even legal. Falling Star, flip Falling Star playing... Okay. Flip Falling Star onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Falling Star deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on. Tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. If Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect. This card is technically bad, because if you separate all your permanents evenly enough, like the most this is going to do is just 3 damage to the creature. It's like 3 mana, sorcery, deal 3 damage, so it's absolute crap. Watch out, it's a Falling Star! Are there rules around separating your permanents once a card is on the stack? I could see a world where, hey, I put Falling Star on the stack, you can't move anything anymore. You can't do it. V with the super chat. Thanks so much for the super chat. Kukas, we saw Kukas already, but I'll show it again just for you. Well, we see both Kukases here. Keeper of Kukas and Kukas himself. With the chains. Yeah, I said that it was this French fry guy. They look the same. I don't know what his name is, though. I can't remember. Aqua Team Hunger Force. Crimson Wolf with the Goblin something. Goblin Chirurgian. The hell is this? Okay, we got 1 red for a 0/2 that is not on the reserve list. This is not on the reserve list. This does not qualify. Get it out of here. Okay, these apparently probably are on the reserve list. We got 2 people confirming. Frylock. Fry. You both spelled it wrong, apparently. Is it 2 words? Flylock? Oh, sorry, it's Fry. Maybe I spelled it wrong. What is this card? How did 2 separate people... Frylock is not on the reserve list? Apparently, it is not even a card. Frylock MTG. Oh, yeah. This is the guy. This guy's called Frylock. Oh, yeah. Now I get it. I get it. Oh, boy. Yeah. Floating Fry guy equals Frylock. I got no context in these comments. So I just thought you guys are trying to tell me a card. Yeah. Frylock. What was the guy? What was this guy name? Oh, Master Shake. Yeah, that's Master Shake. We got Master Shake, Frylock, and Meatball. Or Meathead? No, it was Meatball. Alright. That was fun. Okay, back to the actual cards, though. Annaba Ancestor. Trying to Why isn't Frylock on Scryfall? What is going on here? Okay, 1 red, 1 generic, 1/1 Minotaur Spirit. Tap. Another target Minotaur creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Oh god. Those Minotaurs. The ancestors are the wisdom of the tribe and the soul of the homelands. I am eternal in their debt. Who's Carl? Oh, the guy? Was the other guy Carl? Because there's the human being on the show, right? There we go, yeah. Was that guy Carl? It's funny, I look up Frylock MTG on Google, and this actually does show up. Is there like... Oh, yeah, so was there some Frylock cards? We got... Hold on, let's take a look at this. We got the Magic Cliffs. So some people made some Aqua Team Hunger Force cards. A little bit of a deviation to our show. Magic Cliffs. Tap, add 1. Tap, target creature gains flying until end of turn. Shake, we could have chucked him off the roof and stayed at home, says Frylock. You can't really throw Frylock off the... Well, whatever. What happened to my What happened to my freaking car? Yeah, Aqua Teen Secret Lair incoming. What do we got here? Granite Gargoyle. Granite Gargoyle. Oh, we looked at this one. This is how we started the show off, with the 3-mana 2/2 head flying. Chaos Harlequin. Hold on, is this Chaos Harley Quinn? Is this from Batman? Oh, this is an actual card. I thought you guys are trolling me all of a sudden again. Red, 2 generic for a 2/4. Harley Quinn. Red, remove the top card of your library from the game. If that card is a land, Chaos Harley Quinn gets -4, -0. Well, that's not good. Until end of turn. Otherwise, Chaos Harley Quinn gets +2/+0 until end of turn. That's not too bad. Actually, it is bad. You have to remove cards from your deck from the game, non-land cards, in order to buff this thing to a 4/4 creature. But I guess you can keep paying red until you do it. But like, it's also a feel bad. Oh no, I lost my Shivan Dragon, my Lightning Bolt, my Obliterate, just to make this thing +2/+0. Beampot says, fun fact, Aqua Teen Hunger Force is still regarded as the most accurate representation of New Jersey in popular TV and film. I was just in New Jersey. You know what? I should go see the show all over again. Get the full feeling of it. Do they have Wawa in there? I don't think they have Wawa. Harley Quinn is a real word. Harley Quinn is a play on the word. Ah! Because I got confused. Everyone knows Harley Quinn from Batman, right? The Joker's, I don't know, girlfriend or wife. I don't know the lore to Batman very well, to be honest. What is considered canon in Batman? Is it like the comic books, the cartoon series? I doubt the movies. No one trusts the movies these days. V with Boris Devil Boone. The hell is this? All right, I'll give it to you. This one's a red card. I don't know how many gold cards there are, so we'll mix the gold with the red. We got a red, black, 3 generic, 2, 5 mana for a 2/2 zombie wizard with the activated ability of red, black, 2 generic. Tap. Put a 1/1 black and red demon creature token named Minor Demon onto the battlefield. Oh God, that's awful. 4 mana to make a 1/1 creature every turn. It makes creatures! Put on the reserve list. That must have seemed insane at the time. The mainline comics that have the Batman title. Alright. DC doesn't even keep track of its own continuity. Is there like 5 different timelines at this point? Like The Legend of Zelda? To the point... Is it to the point where they're just saying these are all alternate timelines and that's canon? But there's so many variations on the character that I don't even listen when someone says the word canon anymore. It's canon in this dimension. Harley Quinn is a character from Italian opera that became a word for any clown. Ah, interesting. We're learning a lot. You see, we learn a little bit about Magic the Gathering cards, and we also learn a little bit about history. And also cartoons on this show. It's a multi-format show. All right, PM here. Gravity Sphere. Red 2 generic. All creatures lose flying ability. Which translates to all creatures lose flying. It's an enchantment. Is it just... No, it's a world enchantment, technically. It is a world enchantment. I don't remember what makes something a world enchantment special. Oh, I think it's because it applies to all creatures in play. So if it was just an enchantment, it would be like all your creatures probably... No, hold on. Is humility a world enchantment? No, it's just an enchantment. It just says all creatures. So I don't understand what's so special about world enchantment. It's a real thing though. That is, does that buff up Tarmogoyf by any chance? It's good in Reusi. Well, whatever. It's not good under any other circumstance. Only one world enchantment on the board at a time. So hold on, you mean like I control or anybody? So if I get down the gravity sphere, I'm preventing other people from playing their world enchantment? Or is it that I can, it's like legendary, or like the old legend rule, I can only have one of these in play at one time. World is a super type. It gets knocked off. Oh, so hold on, if someone plays a new world enchantment, it just loses. You commander players know the rules to some degrees that the competitive players never will. Affects all players at the table. Yeah. End joke. It's like the old legend roll, but new one kills old one. Cool. That's how it used to be with the legend roll at one time. The new one killed the old one. Lightning Dragon. The power of lightning and a dragon. Oh yeah. Okay, we got a red 2 generic for a 4/4 dragon flying. It's got Echo. Red 2 generic. You gotta pay that thing at the next turn's upkeep or it's gonna disappear. So it also has fire breathing. So it's effectively, it's like a slightly faster Shivan dragon is all this is. You have to pay this Echo of 4 mana to have this thing in play one turn earlier. This is probably one of the best reserve list cards in red. Even as bad as this is. You can get this thing for $6. You can buy the whole... You probably get... I wonder if you could buy all the reserve list cards shown today. All the bad ones. For like less than $100. You can collect them all. Is that really reserve list? It is. Take a look at this. You want to see? You want proof? Part of the reserve list. That's why this show is existing. I want to show you all this crap that is on the reserve list. You won't believe these cards are on the reserve list. That could have been an alternate title for this show. You won't believe this is on the reserve list. It's a red creature that flies. Get it on the reserve list. It's broken. Best reserve list card is Martin Stromgald. What's Martin Stromgald? Martin Strom. This reminds me of Sir Stroming. Okay, we got a red 2 generic for a 1/1 creature for 4 mana. And it's legendary. This can be your commander, people. Who's ready to build the mono-red Martin Stromgald commander deck? It's a human knight, so you can have some human tribal things going on. Whenever Martin Stromgald attacks, other attacking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn for each attacking creature other than Martin Stromgald. That's not terrible. And when Martin Stromgald blocks, other blocking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn for each blocking creature other than Martin Stromgald. This is maybe the best of the worst. The best of the worst creatures. You could put this in maybe in a goblin deck. Martin Stromgald is amazing! Broken in Ishin. Hot take. The reserve list is a scam to artificially increase card prices. Correction. I don't know if... By scam, you mean deceive. I mean, that was the purpose of the reserve list, to keep the prices up. It wasn't a scam. They're like, okay, we're gonna artificially reduce the quantity of these cards. We're gonna keep them fixed at this quantity so that the prices are high. Although it didn't really work very well, because Martin Stromgold is still $10. I don't know, maybe it was 50 cents at the time. I bet this guy was pretty big at the time. I would love to see the price history of Martin Stromgold. Magic 30 broke the reserve list and they haven't had lawsuits. But it doesn't break the reserve list because none of them are tournament legal cards. I know some people like to think this. It doesn't. Because they made proxy cards in the past many times. They've done it many times. They had the room to do it again. What do we got here? The Anubis Spirit Crafter. The series shows how dumb the reserve list is. It is. This is most of the reserve list cards are absolute bubkiss. It's just a few reserve list cards that everyone wants. All right, we got a red 2 generic Minotaur Shaman. Oh, it's a Lord. It's a 1/3 Minotaur creatures get +1/+0. You never know. Maybe one day the Minotaur's gonna be big. It's a big creature type. They really haven't developed Minotaurs very well. There's so many potentially good Minotaur cards, like Didgeridoo. One day that Didgeridoo gonna be big. Nikachu, I'd love to see the price history of Martin. Chat, if only they made a website for that. No, but I need to see it from, like, I mean, if we go to mtgstocks.com, they only have the price history up to, like, 2010-ish. I need to see it around, I want to see it, like, back in 2007, when it first came out. Or 2005. That's when those cards were really worth money. When all the other cards were worthless. Robert! Thank you very much for the super chat. Did we talk about Gallow Braid yet? Nope. We have not. Not red! Not a very red card. Don't worry. One day we'll get to the red cards. And don't feel ashamed. Many people have made that mistake today anyway. Isn't Didgeridoo at least fine right now? Not really. Like, what, you want to put a changeling in play? There's just no Minotaurs to put in play. They're all terrible. Oh, I don't know what I said. Oh, yeah, but 1995, yeah. Back in the day. Alright, let's look at Rock Hydra. Oh, no, I think we saw this one already. Yeah, yeah. We looked at Rock Hydra. Okay, let's look at Rogue Sky Captain. Ture Yawat still playing the game of the show. All right. Oh, this looks really good up front. It's 3 mana for a 3/4 flyer. That actually looks really strong, even by today's standards. That little bit. Look at that big eagle. Oh, this is like one of those cards where it's. The creature is really the big alabaster thing, but the actual creature type is human rogue mercenary. Okay, flying. Let's be serious. The human does not fly. The alabaster flies. Or sorry, not alabaster. Albatross? Is that what I'm going for? This guy looks like an albatross. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a wage counter on Rogue Sky Captain because it needs wages. You may pay 2 for each wage counter on it. If you don't, remove all wage counters from Rogue Sky Captain and an opponent gains control of it. What? Oh, so this is the thing you can't hold on to? At the beginning of your upkeep, you got to put a wage counter on it. And you can pay 2 for each wage counter. Oh, so it's like cumulative upkeep. So it's cumulative upkeep. And if you can't pay the upkeep, you got to give it away to somebody. This is pretty cool. More like a hawk or falcon. All right, you know what? I'm no expert on birds, all right? I know nothing. I know what a magpie looks like. But that is a very big thing about... Okay, what is an alabaster? It's a bird, right? Okay, I'm totally wrong. I thought it was a bird. Okay, I was thinking of... I was just thinking of albatross. Whoops. Okay, this doesn't look like an albatross at all. Yeah, I'm dead wrong. I know nothing about birds. It's a stone. Yeah, I was totally off. It's a fish. Alright, moving on. Before I look too stupid. Emberwild. I can only look so stupid every day. What the hell is this? Emberwild Caliph? Aha! So we got red, blue, 2 generic for a 4/4 Genie. Flying Trample. Emberwild Caliph attacks each turn if able. For each 1 damage, Emberwild Caliph successfully deals lose 1 life. This is not bad. Like, I won't play this, obviously, in any deck. For 4 mana, screw it. But for 4 mana, I can see why they put this on the reserve list. This actually looks strong. It's got flying. It's got trample, so if you block with any of the weak creatures at the time, it's just going to trample over. I think a 4/4 outclasses most creatures. You attack every turn, but, like, whatever. You're not there for blocking. And for each one, it looks like a good finisher in the blue-red decks. Pretty good art, too. Neat stuff. Point is, the card is terrible. All right, we got Eric. Eric on for the super chat. Read the title of the stream or draw 25. Yeah, draws 25 cards, exactly. Thank you very much for the super chat. Robert, back with the super chats. How about Firestorm Phoenix? Oh, the Firestorm Phoenix for red 4 generic, a 3/2 flying Phoenix. If Firestorm Phoenix would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Firestorm Phoenix to its owner's hand. Instead, it can't be cast again until its owner's next turn. It's 6 mana, though. It's got a really good ability. What was this from? It was from Legends. It's a Legends card. It's not bad. It just costs 6 mana, which makes it unplayable. Do the Djinns tend to have downsides for good stats? Yes, I guess so. Yo Little Ted with the Bird Maiden. What do we got here? Red 2 generic. That's not on the reserve list. Not on the reserve list. Know your reserve list cards. To be honest, it looks like a reserve list card. Because all the other red flying creature, like all the other red flying cards were on the reserve list. Finally! Armageddon! Rock of Care Ridges. This is like the quintessential bad reserve list card. I think this is the reserve list card. This is the red reserve list card that set the stage for a bunch of other reserve list cards. This came from beta or alpha. This was one of the OG. Red 3 generic, 3/3 flying. Get it on that reserve list. Red can't fly so easily. That should be a dragon thing. And from here on out, they basically, if anything had flying, if it was red and flying, it was on the reserve list. Yeah, it doesn't even have any flavor text. Where's the flavor text? Well, did the beta have flavor text? Oh, it did. They put on the reserve list for the flavor text. We encountered a valley topped with immense boulders and eerie rock formation. Suddenly, one of these boulders toppled from its perch and sprouted gargantuan wings, casting a shadow of darkness and sending us fleeing in terror. Oh, there we go. If anyone was interested. Yeah, we did Rock Hydra. Suleiman's Legacy. Aha! It is part of the reserve list. Alright, enchantment. When Suleiman's Legacy comes into play, bury all Djinns and Afrits. Whenever a Djinn or Afrit comes into play, bury it. It's actually quite good. I do what? I don't know. It's narrow, though. I think it's a good card, though. I wouldn't say this is terrible. It's very narrow, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done. Nikachu, if it's red and flying, it's on the reserve list. Wizards of the Coast, let's print more dragons and phoenixes. Exactly. Notice that, like, all the red creatures are basically dragons and phoenixes. A lot of them. Mudslide. We got a red 2 generic enchantment. Creatures without flying don't untap during their controller's untap steps. That's not bad. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may choose any number of tap creatures without flying he or she controls and pay 2 for each creature chosen this way if the player does untap those creatures. This actually is pretty good. This seems like a stacks piece of some sort. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may choose any number of tapped creatures without flying. Because, of course, the flying creatures don't get affected by the mudslide. That's good flavor. And they can pay 2, so they got to pay 2 to untap their creatures. Yeah, decent in stacks. It's a it's $1.50. So you want to own a reserve list card? They're not going to print anymore. You go get your mudslides. Also, if you're a fan of the drink, maybe you like this card. What else do we have here? Crimson Wolf just loves the old art. I'm usually not a fan of the old art. So it's really hit or miss for me. This one is a miss. Simcoe Sports! Aegis of the Meek. Not a red card. But you know what? You gave me $10, so we'll talk about it. 3 mana. It is on the reserve list. For 1 mana, tap target 1/1 creature gets +1/+2 until end of turn. How pathetic is this? That is terrible. It's like, hold on. It's funny. This is on the reserve list, but Pendelhaven isn't. That is so bizarre. All this is Pendelhaven. It's a worse Pendelhaven. Target 1/1 becomes a 1/2, and this land is colorless, so it's effectively an artifact. They made a worse version of Pendelhaven and put it on the reserve list. Oh my god. And why isn't Pendelhaven came out first? This came out in Legends. That is so weird. They like remade a worse effect and put that card on the reserve list. That's the most backwards thing I ever saw. Okay, whatever. Oh, whoa, it's not legendary. That's what makes it broken. You can have multiples of these things. Can they even stack, though? Maybe? I don't know if I can stack them. Isn't Pendelhaven uncommon? It is. And this thing is... I don't know if it's rare or not. I can't tell. Okay, we got another super chat here. We got Yo Little Ted. Allie. Oh, Allie's... No. Allie from Cairo. This card's broken. It's red 2 generic. 0/1 creature. Damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. Because this card is... It's worship. Well, I can't show you the price. It's $444. Anyway, so this show is about the bad reserve list cards. This is actually one of the good ones. I think Red has like 3 good reserve list cards. This is one of them. In my opinion. Toilet Duck. We got Tuck near Deathlock. The hell is that? It's a 2/2 human wizard with flying. Pay a red and a green tap. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Pathetic. Yeah, it's like Platinum Angel in a way. Red Platinum Angel. Arethusa came late to the party. Covetous Dragon actually sees playing Wildfire. Them dragons. Really? In a Wildfire deck? Alright, whatever. Dwarven Armorer. It's Dwarven, so it's gonna suck. Dwarf decks are terrible. Alright, we got a red 0/2. Okay, we get it on turn 1. So make sure it has no power whatsoever. Which doesn't make any sense. He's got a hammer in his hand. What, a hammer doesn't deal any damage? It's a huge flavor fail right there. Red tap. Discard a card from your hand to put either as +0/+1 or a +1/+0 counter on target creature. God, that's awful. That is just terrible. And also flavor fail. It's got a hammer. Blue Heart or Orange Heart says Heart Wolf. Oh yeah, we looked at this one. Yeah, we saw this one already. Lord of Tressorhorn. I can tell which people are on Scryfall right now. They're looking up the pennies. I didn't know there's so many gold reserve list cards. Red, black, blue, 1 generic for a 10-4. Okay, well, what's the downside? Because that's pretty good, even by today's standards. It's a zombie. When Lord of Tressorhorn comes into play, you lose 2 life and sack 2 creatures, and an opponent draws 2 cards. That is quite the downside. And you can regenerate this thing. It's probably not bad in a zombie deck, though. Probably not too bad in a zombie deck. Telemtor's Edict. Telemtor. It's part of the reserve list. Remove from the game. Okay, for 1 red, it's an instant. Remove from the game target permanent you own or control. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. God. So basically, I guess if someone tries to blow up one of your stuff, you could be like, well, it's going to go out on my own terms. It's a way of cycling the card. This is terrible. Maybe they thought that one day exiling something would be like really useful deep in the future. You know, if we can exile stuff, you can get stuff from exile. And that was true, but we don't really use the exile zone all that much. There's like 2 creatures, I think. The Eldrazi Scourge and then that Griffin. Lord of Tressorhorn sees some play in Stifle Knot decks. What, in 93, 94? Yeah, exile your own stuff. Own or control is a card in hand. Is a card in the hand a card you own then? Yes. Draw a card at the beginning. Are you talking about the last guy? When it comes into play, you lose 2 life and sack 2 creatures. Or what are you talking about, this discard thing? Oh, I don't remember. You must be late. Too late. Armageddon with Winter Sky. Oh, look at that. It's cold out there. Okay, for 1 red, sorcery, flip a coin. Target opponent calls heads or tails. Well, the coin is in the air. If the flip ends up in your favor, Winter Sky deals 1 damage to each creature and player. Otherwise, each player draws a card. Holy crap! That is garbage! I guess back then, you know, dealing 1 damage to everything for 1 mana was like considered OP. Also back then, everything was really weak. Like really weak. Everything there was a lot of 1 toughness creatures back then. Flip a coin. Target opponent calls. If the flip ends up in your favor, deal 1 damage to each creature and player. Unbelievable. It's like Pyroclasm before they had Pyroclasm. Oh, it's a Homelands card. It's like, okay, you have to allocate some cards to the reserve list every set. And Homelands had a lot of stinkers. I guess this is one of the better ones. The Eternal Flame. This is a great name. Probably wasted on this card. Red, 2 generic sorcery. Eternal Flame does an amount of damage to your opponent equal to the number of mountains you control. But it also does half that amount of damage to you rounded up. Interesting. So you gotta make sure your life total is high enough or you'll kill yourself in addition to your opponent. Is Baron Singer... Is this a reserve list card? It sounds like a modern day black card. Yeah, it is. Not red. Notice we only look at the red cards on the show, people. Some people are out there, why isn't anyone naming blue or black cards? What's going on here? Okay, V's trying to get Misfortune on here really hard. Okay, technically, it's sort of red. It's red enough, I guess. Sorcery. Target opponent chooses 1. You put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and gain 4 life. Or you put a -1/-1 counter on each creature that opponent controls and Misfortune deals 4 damage to him or her. Or to that player, as they would say these days. Sorcery. Blue Elemental Blast. Yeah, it's Blue Elemental Blast for all the cards today. Two-headed giant. Two-headed giant of something. Of the of Forius. Foriz? Foriz? Whatever. Red 4 generic for a 4/4 trampler. It's a giant trampler. Two-headed giant can block an additional creature. And a flavor win. This is probably not too bad at the time. Actually, who am I kidding? 4/4. I guess it outclasses Giant Spider. No, it doesn't outclass Giants. Giant Spider's like 3. What's Giant Spider? 2/4? I think there's another. Okay, so it beats Giant Spider. Very important for the red deck at the time. Damn, green decks blocking all their crap. Worst dragon. Nalath. Okay, hold on. Nalathni dragon. Not part of the reserve list, though. We'll talk about worst dragons some other day. That is a lot of text, though. That is an insane amount of text. They simplified it back then. Dragon Con. Okay, whatever. Mountain Titan. We got red. There's a lot of bad gold cards. Maybe I should be giving the buzzer to these. We have a 2/2 for 4 mana. Red, 1 generic. For the rest of the turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Mountain Titan whenever you successfully cast a black spell. Oh god, that's terrible. I will activate this. And now for every black spell, this thing's going to get bigger. Seth with Dwarven Thau something. Thaumaturgist? Notice how all the... Anything is like a kobold or a dwarven card, and it's terrible and on the reserve list. So we have a 3 mana 1/2. Tap. Switch power and toughness of target creature until end of turn. Effects that alter that creature's power alter its toughness instead, and vice versa until end of turn. Ah, it's like a trickery... Sort of a trickery card. That's a neat card. I'm surprised. This thing is only $2. It's not good. But you know, you could screw with people in combat with this card. I think it's a pretty cool card to have in your commander deck if if you're into that chaos sort of thing. I was today years old when I found out Nalathni Dragon wasn't on the reserve list. Exactly. Okay, hold on. There's a card that you guys haven't named. I gotta get on here. Where is it? It's a kobold card. Kobold Overlord! Guess how big and dangerous Kobold Overlord is. This is a red 1 generic 1/2. Kobold creatures you control have first strike. First strike, baby. That was worth being a lord, and it is on the reserve list. Yeah, such a cartoony art as well. Them kobolds. What is the whole... I get, maybe they foresaw that they were going to make more kobold creatures, and this was going to be a really dangerous creature type, but then they just didn't make any more anymore. Oh my god, this is $110. Can you see that price? You cannot see the price. Well, I gotta show you. You wouldn't believe it. Whoops. What's going on with my show? It's $110. Ugh. I'm screwing everything up. I don't believe it. If you told me that was $110, I would ignore this card when looking through a bunch of bulk. It has stats. Yeah, I guess so. It does affect itself. No, they errated it, actually. They errated it like the Merfolk and the Goblin King. It's... Oh, no, but it has... Oh, they just gave it first strike. It's other kobold creatures you control have first strike. But they just gave it first strike. It's like giving Lord of Atlantis Island Walk itself. Although they never did that for Lord of Atlantis. Now, did they? That's the last errata they should make. Giving Lord of Atlantis itself Island Walk. Like it originally said. All Merfolk got Island Walk. All of them. Taskmaster is good, though. What's Taskmaster? Technically the strongest of the kobolds. Yeah, you never know. Okay, Firestorm Hellkite. The hell is this? Oh, we got 6 mana for a 6/6 flying trampler, but has cumulative upkeep in a red and a blue. But hopefully you kill them by the time you have to pay that upkeep. If it can scar the sky with fire, do not share its destination. Ecos! Thank you very much for the super chat. Soldevi Digger only with Grenzo Dungeon Warden. It's okay. Soldevi. What are they digging for? Not a red card. I'll read it anyway. 2 mana, pay 2. Put the top card of your graveyard on the bottom of your library. I can see that card having some utility if you could see the top card of your library. The salt is real from Nikachu over Lord of Atlantis. Oh yeah, you better believe it. Okay, can we end on an actual red card? Rogue Rack is playable in Kogo. Oh, this is not. You're just... Is it a reserve list card? That's not. Oh, this is a Kobold Warrior. We gotta end on a good note, people. Is that another card? Rogav Carekeep? Oh, there is. This is more things of Carekeep. All right, we got the red, black, 2 generic for a 5/5 Kobold. It's red. It's from Carekeep, and it's on the reserve list. At the beginning of your upkeep, unless you pay red, an opponent gains control of Rogav of Carekeep, and all creatures you control name Kobolds of Carekeep. If a player... Oh god, all creatures you control name Kobolds of Carekeep. If a player gains control of a creature this way, tap it. Creatures you control name Kobolds of Carekeep get +2/+2. Wild card. What a wild... They were trying to push it. They're trying to... And this one's $80. Can be your commander. Unbelievable. All right, well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for showing up. If you want to be part of these shows, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you so much for everyone, your support. Everyone who is a member on YouTube, patron on Patreon. If you want to support the show, I have links to that in the description, but also all the super chats. Super chats help contribute to the show because you're contributing ideas and money. And money's important for keeping the show running. But thank you, everyone who shows up in the morning. Thank you very much, King Ginger, Seth, Oli Boy, PM, Anna, Charlie Peterson, Michael Praise, Lauren, Mikey, J, showing up there in the end, Tastefully Nerd, and the Big Squid. Thank you very much for showing up in the morning because, as usual, you guys are the show. I'm nothing without all of you. So as usual, my coffee crew, you keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you at the next cup.